on top in downtown Clearwater. Call me on 727-723-4856. Station Square Realty.
Make sure you tune in to the only FM sports talk show in the Tampa Bay area on Saturday afternoons from 3 to 6. That's right, 3 hours now of the evolution of sports talk radio, the Sports Web. We give you your own walk-up music. We let you call in twice, and we don't hang up on you like those other sports talk shows do. On Saturday afternoons in the Tampa Bay area, it's the Sports Web with your host, Peter Blake, along with Sean, the Sports Don. So every Saturday afternoon from 3 to 6, it's the Sports Web on the Tan Talk Sports Network.
Tom O'Brien is on the Tan Talk Radio Network. Every Monday through Friday from 4 till 5 p.m., Tom takes to the airwaves as he breaks down the day's market action. Tom combines his technical knowledge of the markets with his years of trading experience to take your calls and questions every market day from 4 to 5 p.m. Whether you're new to trading or an active day trader, don't miss out on the Tom O'Brien Show live on the Tan Talk Radio Network from 4 to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Don't turn it off now. You need this stuff. Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to the imho.love experience. That's in my humble opinion, .love. I'm Lou Angel Wolf, and I'm hosting this wonderful hour of it's going to be cool, man. It's we've got a lot of great topics today, and in the studio, just two wonderful people. Michael Merberg, my co-host over there. Hey, Michael.
Good to be here, Lou.
Good to see you, man. You've had a real exciting last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's been a rip-roaring kind of night.
Yeah. Michael is our CE5 expert. And also his avenue of study is exo-consciousness. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But we have a special guest in the studio with us this week. She's my personal friend and has a very, very interesting business going. She's a professional cuddlist. Please welcome Chris Sontag.
Lou, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
and we had a cuddle before we came in here, and you got my recommendation. You get like a 5 stars. Whatever you charge is worth it.
Thank you.
Well, very good. And so welcome, everybody. This is our second show. We're still, ironing out some of the kinks over there on the soundboard. It's our buddy Pete Blake.
What's going on, bud? How you doing? Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday to you. I'm glad you could make it in
Thanks, man.
To be our producer tonight.
Appreciate it.
And the shows always go smoother with you.
Thank you.
And,
Appreciate that.
And we sure love you.
Love you too, bud.
It's in case you're keeping a log, today is August 8th, right? August 8th, 2018. This is on record, as far as I'm concerned, the fastest year I've ever met.
Agreed.
I can't believe we're in the middle of August already. This is crazy and corrupting. But also, too, a very, I'm going to just cover this for a couple of minutes because it is our thing. We do have a podcast. This is the spinoff of the Lutopia podcast, which you can find at lutopia.com. You can find it on Podomatic, YouTube, Facebook, not Facebook so much, but YouTube. There's 160 some episodes, and we have switched over here to the new format on Tan Talk, which we're very, very happy. This is one of my favorite radio stations, and the crew and the staff here is just wonderful people. We love working with them, and so we decided to elevate the show a little bit, bring it up on Tan Talk, and here we go. The one thing that I wanted to mention today is, I don't know how many of you saw it or whatever. You have the you've got the cancellation of the Alex Jones show. Whether you like Alex Jones or don't like Alex Jones really is not a matter, and that's not what we're here to debate. A lot of people think he incites violence and all these other things. He is just broadcasting words like all of us. What the listener does with the words is up to them. But they totally eliminated his YouTube channel, his Twitter account, Facebook. I mean, they really came in and wiped him out. He's gone from Apple, anything else that may have.
All within 12 hours of each other, as if like nobody was talking to each other about this.
Yes, exactly. And what I see it as is a major dent in our freedom of speech. You're allowed to be an idiot. If you want to be an idiot on a radio show, that is your right. And you, whether anybody listens to you or not, that's your choice. But the ability to be able to speak whatever you think or whatever and it's for the listener to process. But here's the deal. The powers that be understand that some of these wildcat voices out there have some background behind them, and they do change people's opinions. In fact, Alex Jones, I don't know how true this is, they say that his support of Trump during the last election helped get him elected, because he really brought up like a grassroots.
Yeah, and this became the payback, and I apologize if I'm interjecting.
No, please.
Appropriately here, but the whole thing reminds me of the old saying that first they came for the communists and I said nothing, and then they came for the disabled and I said nothing, and then they came for the Jews and I said nothing, and then they came for me. And then it was all over. And we're right where at first they came for. And at first they came for Alex Jones.
Yes.
And, as big a bloviator as he is and as abrasive as he can be, there's more than just a grain of truth in what he has to say. He explores areas where nobody else is willing to explore. He stimulates conversation. And if stimulating conversation and thought is something bad in America, then we have just gone down the tubes. And, the remedy to bad speech is truth. Not cutting off bad speech, because everybody should have the right to put forth their opinions and their thoughts in a public forum, which is now controlled by corporates. The corporatists in America are now controlling the speech of America, and that's one of the reasons why we won't shut up.
That's right. And that's the thing is that's what part of the core of this show is in our humble opinion, it's .love. Everything is an opinion up to a point, and what we try to preserve is the love that is inside of it. And also, just for general show keeping, we usually have Chris Gorgeous in the studio with us. Chris, consequently, is remodeling a house and knee deep in drywall. So we're wishing him happy days.
And termite turds,
And it's 101 degrees in Clearwater, Florida today. So I'm sure he's having a festive day. But Chris, we wish you many straight angles. And usually the second half of the show, we have Beth Snyder, who is our personal hypnotherapist. Just a beautiful gal, full of peace, full of love. But consequently, at her shop today, there was some sort of occurrence, and the Ohm shop is under repair, and she may not be done. She may call in the second half if everything gets tidied up.
Well, it might have had something to do with my presence in Sarasota last night and this morning.
Yeah.
The opening up the Stargate and bringing in an entity, an actual ship through the Stargate.
Wow.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are just now catching on to the show, Chris, we're going to get to you in just a minute and talk about your wonderful thing. Michael is an expert or a coordinator for CE5. CE5 is Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. This is human-initiated contact through prayer and meditation to our extraterrestrial friends. We approach them with empty hands and an open belly, and here we are. We just want to commune with you. We want to know the next thing. We want to find the peaceful level that's out there, because we are all thoroughly convinced that everything in this universe has a trace of love in it, and that's the reason it exists. So if we can amplify that love and find that love in an extraterrestrial form, wow. I don't think human beings could have a better way to busy themselves than that.
And it's a means of communication that no government can control.
Exactly. Well, yeah. Now, unless the government is making fraudulent signals. You don't even know what they're up to.
Well, if the
sometimes.
basis of calling these things in is love, I'm sure the government ships aren't the ones that are showing.
Exactly. Well, you know what Americans do every time they see a flying saucer? They shoot at it, But anyway, there was touch base with Chris here, so she's got something to say. And we were on the phone a couple of months ago, and Chris was telling me about this wonderful new program, and I immediately identified with it, and I'm glad we could get together. I know you're a busy gal, you're traveling and doing a lot of stuff. You're a certified cuddlist.
Yes, I am.
And what does a certified cuddlist do?
Cuddles.
Okay.
Actually, what cuddling is, professional cuddling is a actual healing modality.
Okay.
So it is platonic touch in a safe place.
Platonic touch in a safe place. Boy,
Yes.
that sounds nice.
Mm-hmm. By consent.
But of course.
Yes.
And now and what I'm gathering here is I know how busy our society is. Everybody's got jobs. Everybody's got two jobs. Everybody's got two jobs and a single parent. Everybody's got stuff. Okay. And our days, our 24-hour days need to be lengthened to 30 for us to really make any ground. But in our 24-hour days, we do run out of time. And it is a known scientific, there's several scientific studies that people that go a long time without touch, especially with something close, with someone holding you, it starts to affect you physically, and I know it can make you sick.
Absolutely. We're born with that innate need to be touched from infancy.
Yes.
And a lot of us are just too busy, too stressed, too wrapped up in our lives to even establish relationships to get that basic need met.
Well,
yeah. Also, thank you, American Workplace, where you can actually not give anybody a hug anymore for any reason, unless you want to get sued for something that is completely innocent in and of itself, healthy and good for your companions.
Oh,
Yeah.
run that by me. Where'd that come from?
Well, I don't know. You got Safety in the Workplace Acts where there's no touching allowed. There's no touching allowed in the American workplace.
Really?
Yeah, really, absolutely. In order to get it, you have to basically, not only do a consent form, but you got to print the diagram out and kind of circle the areas that are on limits.
There's
crazy.
sexual harassment training in corporate America. Yes. And you guys, I feel worse for you guys because you can't touch other men or you're labeled. You can't touch other women or it's sexual harassment. You can't touch children or you're considered a pedophile. So what do you guys got? A slap on the back or violence?
Right.
That's it. That's your only means of touch.
Right. And it all leads to adult failure to thrive syndrome.
Yes.
True.
Yes.
And apparently this must be at different corporations because at Armor Tech at my day job, everybody comes up for a hug. We all hug. I mean, I don't think anybody's gonna. I mean, they're nice platonic hugs. They're not like they're nice regular hugs. Now, Chris, so in other words, this is a service that you provide for people. And who would be your client? Who gets in touch?
Wow. Anybody who's too busy to develop a regular long-term relationship.
Okay.
Widowers who have lost their touch partners.
Okay.
A lot of these folks have been married 30, 40, 50 years and all of a sudden it's gone.
True.
The kids are busy. The grandkids are grown. There's no one touching the seniors, just a simple hand holding. People with anxiety, depression, people who are stressed out. They just have a lot going on in their lives.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a wedding coming up. Maybe there's they're worried about a promotion.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely any reason. There's
Sure.
a lot of shame in our country about being touched. People are embarrassed by the fact that they need to be touched.
Mm-hmm.
And it shouldn't be that way. That's the way we're wired. And touch is okay in a safe, consensual environment.
So in other words, like say I called and what's the name of your website?
It's Cuddlist.
Cut-
www.cuddlist.com.
Cuddlist. Say I get in touch with Cuddlist.com and I want to make an appointment, and I'm like, I really need some human contact here. Is there like some parameters of which things that I'm allowed to do or not allowed to do? I mean, are there? Where does the touch begin and end?
Well, each cuddlist session is specific to that candidate. So it's really whatever you need.
Okay.
My personal boundaries are no kissing, no touching anywhere where a bathing suit might be.
Your no square.
My no square, yes. So the whole idea is to make the session whatever it is that you need. If it's just a mother-child type hold, if it's stroking your hair or rubbing your arm or scratching your back,
Right.
or I had one gentleman fall asleep in my arms. So it's really, truly just a safe place to relax and unwind and breathe.
Well, that's nice, and you're a very warm, cuddly person to
Yes,
start with.
yes,
So
I was wired for this.
you have an advantage over pointy, skinny girls. But like we were talking before the show, your clientele is not just men. I mean,
no.
you've got a couple sessions coming up, and they're both women.
Yeah, 3 this week that are women.
Wow.
Women struggle with touch simply because if they've been in any type of relationship, and forgive me guys, no judgment here, but the basic fact is anytime you touch, it goes sexual.
It can.
And so women don't want to be on performing all the time. They don't want to be pushed to perform on a regular basis.
I get it.
So if a man does not learn how to just basic touch, just that basic human closeness, women shut down. So I've heard from people who have been married for 20 years and haven't had sex or touch in all that time because they're avoiding touch because they know what it leads to.
Wow.
So, yeah. So
20 years.
20 years. Yeah, it's scary.
I can't imagine.
It's a long time dead.
I know.
You know how many dogs I'd have at that point?
let's teach the retriever to hug.
Yeah. Well,
Retrievers give great hugs. They really do. And you know what? That is one of those things. And probably one of the other, just as a side note, probably one of the explosions of pet adoptions. Because people like the closeness of another mammal.
Yeah.
But of course, we highest functioning mammals, that's what we call ourselves. But we're running out of that kind of
kind of young orangutan we all look for.
You know, I know it's a normal thing, and actually it's really funny. Tom Rhodes and I, one of my buddies, we've got this running joke over the last 30 years, and I go, "How's everything going, Tom?" And he'll just go, "Dude, I just need to be held."
I'll give you my card to pass along.
You do famous people too. Okay.
Yes,
good.
sure. Anybody who needs it.
Well, and I totally agree with this. I mean, I think it's a wonderful thing. And how can people get a hold of you? We'll do it again. We'll talk more about it again when I get over to Michael's CE5 because he had some. What's your website again?
It's www.cuddlist.com.
And CUDDLIST?
Yes.
.com. Okay,
Yes.
and this is a certified straight up thing. It's non-sexual, but man, what a wonderful addition to our society. I believe it is something going in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the In My Humble Opinion, and there's something I wanted to clarify too about opinions. I got in a little bit of a battle with some people online, which is silly. Which is like yelling down a well, but
he assaulted me online.
And I really think a lot of people take themselves way too seriously about their opinion. And, you know, now Michael is a Princeton graduate. He's an attorney and a highly intelligent man. I didn't nickname him. I call him his nickname, Mikeopedia.
Oh, nice.
And,
Or my days on The Biggest Loser.
And yes, and he was on the TV show The Biggest Loser. He was on season 16.
Oh my gosh, I think I saw that.
Yeah.
I think I saw that.
Well,
Yeah,
I thought you looked familiar.
Yeah, I was the guy that set the record.
Nice.
Yeah, 38.5 pounds in 9 days.
Oh my gosh.
With a blown out knee and a cast.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was all. I watched your whole season.
Yeah, that was kind of fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
And you went from 399 pounds to 250 pounds.
248 and a half.
248 and a half.
The
There you
half
go.
counts.
Fighting weight.
Nice. That is a fighting weight. And you're what, 6'5"?
6'5.5", and I'm floating around 315 right now. But you're a creature of your environment.
315.
315. So
Okay, so you gained back some.
Yeah, I came. You can only work out so much. I'd much rather be out there, swimming and doing things for 4 or 5 hours a day.
Well, that was the thing, though. It was a constant workout.
Right, and if you put yourself in that kind of environment, you're going to be perfect. You're going to have a 2% body fat, and everything else is going to go away. But we can't always live that way. So we're creatures of our environment.
Dude, I don't have 2% body fat in my pinkies.
Well, just for the record, that's not a good cuddle. 2% body fat is not a good cuddle.
Well, I'll shoot for 7 then. So just to keep the edges a little fluffy.
Okay, but what I'm saying is Michael has listened to some of the most intelligent professors in the world. He really does reach out for intelligence. He really does reach out for facts and fact checking. I mean, he's a good student and a good researcher. But yet, even in the depth of his research, what he produces is his opinion. Okay. And I think way too many people get caught up that they think that there's all these empirical facts that line up into their understanding. And that's just not true, because it depends on what your source of information is how your opinion is going to be formed.
Right. It's like the dude says, things are apt to change.
Yes.
We just don't have the access to the information all the time. I forget what the exact quote is, but you get it if you're like a dude follower.
Sure.
Lebowski.
Things are bound to change. And what I'm saying is the opinion that or things that were facts 40 years ago are no longer facts. I mean, they've changed, they've morphed. We've grown. We've descended.
You mean the Earth really isn't flat?
Well,
let's regress. You mean the universe doesn't? The world is not the center of the universe. Let's go back to Copernicus a little bit here.
Sure.
It's easier because you got flat Earth people that actually believe that, and God bless them anyway.
And hey, and you know what?
It's their opinion.
Have your opinion. Enjoy it. And that's what this show is about. It's in our humble opinion, or in my humble opinion. But the main thing that we want to amplify here is that everything after the dot is the most important, and it's about love. And that's what Chris's practice is about. That's what this show is about. And
that's what CE5 is all about.
The CE5, the Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, are, to me, if you're going to spend your time pondering, if you're going to spend your time thinking, if you're going to spend your time reaching out, and I'm noticing this too, as the world goes on, we become more and more confused. I mean, I talk to people sometimes, and just that they'll start the conversation with, "Man, I don't know what to think anymore. I don't know what to do anymore," because obviously you can't trust the TV news. Okay, you can hardly trust what you read on the internet. You can hardly trust what you read in any recent publications. Now, I know, I think the last truthful book I read was a 1963 Encyclopedia Britannica, I mean, before the spin was on. Yeah. And everything's got a spin now. Everything's got an agenda. And what I'm trying to say is, as you're developing your opinion, and that's all you have. You don't have a bag full of facts. You have a bag full of opinions. So don't go thinking that you're extra special, because you're really not. You're just another one of us, workaday ham and eggers trying to figure it out. But what I'm saying is be humble with your opinion, because my opinion, even ones that I've stood on a soapbox and banged a drum, has changed. I don't hold those opinions anymore.
You know what my dad used to say about opinions?
What's that?
Opinions are like buttholes. They all stink except your own.
Well, it's pretty straight up. Dad didn't mince words.
Well, yeah, and what he really said, I can't say on AM radio.
I was going to say I heard it a little differently.
But in that scope of thought, as we're gathering all this information, and what I love when it happens, because I try to make it happen on purpose, is that as I'm gathering all this opinion, I go, where's the love? Where is the love? Where is this going to make everything better? Where along the line of this reasoning am I going to find something that draws me to truth, something that draws me to serenity, something that draws me to peace?
And something that keeps you away from the division of both humanity and consciousness.
Yes, and and to circle back around to the beginning of the show, what this Alex Jones decapitation is showing me is a further separation of all of us. Okay, there's media giants that are literally dictating everything that you see and hear. It all goes through a filter before it's prepared for your pretty little ears.
Of course.
And the sound bites and the misquotes and the half quotes and the 10-year-old quotes that get blended in with everything else. All it is a giant manipulation, folks. Things, there's some things that are way worse than are being reported, and then there's other things that aren't nearly as bad as what they're being made out to be.
It's all part of the agenda.
It is. And that's the reason that we're doing what we do, is we're trying to help anybody that's trying to find their way to peace.
You know, like the corporate news reminds me of?
What's that?
Is like foie gras.
Foie gras?
Yeah, we're all like ducks getting fed this stuff in order for them to cut out our livers and eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, here, no, don't give that duck that. Liver's not going to taste so. I'll just feed them the stuff,
Yeah. Oh, well, it's really sad. But if you look at our global history, populations get wiped out when there's regime change.
Yeah.
And, America has lasted longer than any of the other, not any of them, but it's a long running society. There's several that have lasted longer than us. But in these modern days, with all the fractionization of information, this society, everybody wanted to be an American at one point. I mean, the whole world thought we were wonderful. And over the last 75 years, 100 years, we've proven ourselves not to be so wonderful.
Yeah, there's a lot of expatriates.
Yeah.
Living elsewhere.
Yeah, they just can't take it anymore. And I don't know whether they're so just so allergic to the situation, or whether I'm the one that's conforming and just running through the maze. Michael and I talk about it all the time. We all work very hard and we turn in, 8, 10, 12-hour days. My buddy Jesse's listening, and there's one of the hardest working guys. He runs the shop over at Armor Tech, and man, he's there at 6 o'clock in the morning, and he's often there at 6 o'clock at night. And he really, yes, Jesse deserves a round of applause. And again, he's on the same treadmill we are. We're working our tails off for climate-controlled environment and cars with shiny wheels. Mm-hmm. Really kind of, that's what it kind of breaks, and food within reach.
Yeah.
Let me interject a second here before
Go ahead.
Forget about it. Earlier, or the other day when the Alex Jones things first came out, I said, at some point in time, somebody's going to invent, just like we used to pay weekly for a newspaper, sources of information that are privately owned but not privately controlled. And lo and behold, one of the posts that I read this morning is the InfoWars app, which is Alex Jones's application now that he can't be on YouTube. His downloads have surged past CNN after the Orwellian deplatforming. So it's already started. What's happened is the marketplace will respond to needs, desires, and markets that are necessary to purvey important information and things.
Right.
And it's happening right now. Thank God it is. Thank God there's a self-correcting, stasis that pervades all of humanity at some point in time, just like communism and to the degree it existed in Russia. Thing of the past. Okay, guess what? This oppression isn't gonna last forever.
Right.
And it's already taking form in a counterculture against it.
Well, and that's exactly right. People are hungry for this alternative news because the pablum that they've been feeding us through network television and many of the other cable networks, everything's got the buzz taken off of it and everything's smoothed out. And it's amazing when you listen to some people, some of the reporters and people that are bringing forth topics, they'll say something brutal, but it'll sound smooth, and it just goes by. It entered into your ear, but there you go, right. and it rests right there. Well, folks, the worst part about the imho.love show is we got to sit through the news. We were just talking about the news starts at 8:00, which is just in a couple of minutes from now, but we'll be back in about 6 minutes. Thank you, everybody, listening on Facebook. Darlene, the baby catcher's listening tonight, and she wants to move to France. And you might want to study that a little further. You may not.
They got good food there, though.
They do have nice food. And oui.
WTAN, Clearwater,
FM 106.1,
WDCF, Dade City, Tampa Bay, WZHR, Zephyr Hills,
FM 104.3.
Listen.
School shoot training, wildfire arrest. I'm Barbara Kusak. The 5 suspects accused of abusing 11 children at a New Mexico compound were training them to commit school shootings, according to prosecutors handling the case. In court filings, they say if the defendants were to be released from custody, there is a substantial likelihood they may commit new crimes due to their planning and preparation for future school shootings. An arrest has been made on suspicion of felony arson in connection with Southern California's Holy Fire that's burned 12 cabins and led to evacuations.
Orange County Supervisor Todd Spitzer had some choice words for 51-year-old Forrest Gordon Clark.
This is a monster.
According to officials, Clark allegedly threatened to start a fire, telling a volunteer fire chief that, quote, this place will burn, end quote. Orange County Fire Authority Battalion Chief Shane Sherwood says it was collaboration that brought Clark into custody.
Through the witness statements that we received and the physical findings that we found out at the fire.
That evidence includes the fire starting around or near Clark's home. He's expected to plead to charges of aggravated arson, criminal threats, and resisting arrest, and if found guilty on all charges, could spend the rest of his life in prison. Jim Roop, Irvine, California.
More than 20 people are arrested in the Los Angeles area today as part of a drug trafficking operation linked to the Sinaloa cartel. Investigators say 3 drug trafficking organizations brought in about $35 million worth of narcotics per month into the U.S. Congressman Chris Collins pleaded not guilty to insider trading charges, and he spoke out tonight.
I believe I acted properly and within the law at all times.
The Republican from Western New York appeared in court today to face accusations he illegally leaked confidential information about a pharmaceutical company to his son and the father of his son's fiancée. New York City Council imposed a 1-year freeze on new licenses for ride-sharing services like Uber and Lyft. It becomes the first major city to cap the number of drivers for these services. I'm Barbara Kusak.
It's not just any month at Edible Arrangements. It's National Dip Fruit Month, which means summer just got a little more shareable. With 50% off on our chocolate dip mixed fruit box when you pick it up in store. Filled with freshable strawberries, apples, and bananas, dipped in gourmet chocolate for a taste that's make your dayable. And remember, no matter the season or weird little reason, Edible is lovable. Treat yourself today at one of our stores or visit us at edible.com.
Amazon has everything for back to school. Zebra lunchbox? Check. Cool Adidas gear like t-shirts, shoes, and backpacks? Check. Triceratops folders and pencils? Check. Laser Cat t-shirts? Check. Get your back to school shopping done now at Amazon.com/back to school and enjoy free shipping on millions of items. No need to leave your home or hassle with crowds. Amazon.com. No better place to get everything back to school from A to Z.
Are you looking for a job? Join me, Gene Hodge, on the Employment Opportunity Hour, Thursdays from 7 to 8 p.m., where I will tell you and share with you, as well as answer all of your questions and help you find enjoyable employment instead of a job. This is the only talk show that talks about everyone who makes up our workforce. Join me on the Employment Opportunity Hour every Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. on the Employment Opportunity Hour.
There's a new show on Tan Talk 1340. It's imho.love. That's in my humble opinion.love, featuring me, comedian Lou Angel Wolf, and comedian Chris Gorgeous, Beth Snyder, who is our staff hypnotherapist, and of course our teacher into the exo consciousness, Michael Merberg.
Yes, where we believe that the greatest wisdom is kindness and love unites us all.
Amen. And there's a bit of profundity every week at 7:30 on Tan Talk.
Did you ever think about hosting your very own radio show? Here's how.
Hey, Tampa Bay, did you know you can have a 1-hour program on the Tan Talk Radio Network for less than the cost of one 60-second announcement on many Tampa Bay stations? That's right. We'll put you on the radio for less than the cost of one 60-second announcement on many stations. Check it out today. Use your program to promote yourself, your business, or someone else's business. Call Lola Jean, the broadcast queen, 727-510-7622. That's 510-7622. Call Lola Jean now to check out your Tan Talk Network program. In addition to network radio, we'll stream your program in audio and video all over the world. Call Lola Jean now, 727-510-7622. Call today. Your network 1-hour program can start tomorrow. Broadcast your message in audio and video on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Hi, this is John Austin, host of the Book Club on the Tan Talk Radio Network. I spent 35 years in publishing, and today I want to tell you about a book that could change your life. The book is No Cash, No Problem. The author is Dave Wagenford. Dave Wagenford is one of the greatest barter experts in the world. He's bartered over $500 million in goods and services. If you want to remodel your home, but the cost is just too high, or maybe there's an automobile that you have dreamed of owning, but thought you just couldn't afford. Well, this book will allow you to do both of those things, plus hundreds more with little or no cash. Maybe you're a business owner with a cash flow problem that leads to low or non-existing profits. Read this book and see how you can increase your cash flow and your profits by time-proven techniques. The book again is No Cash, No Problem, and you can buy it now online at www.tantalknetwork.com. Click on the book and follow the instructions, or pick up the phone and call Lola at 727-441-3311. The book costs only $6.99, so do yourself a favor and buy the book today.
Don't turn it off now. You need this stuff. Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network.
All right, everybody, we're back. imho.love, Lou Angel Wolf, Michael Merberg, our special guest, Chris Sontag in the studio with us, Pete Blake over there pushing the dials, and our new media producer, Kathy Potter, is here. Yay. Good to see her. All right. Well, hi, everybody. Hi, Nicole Landry, who used to book me at the Mahaffey Theater so many years ago. Thanks for listening. Welcome back, everybody. The imho.love show is a show about CE5, which is Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, humor, of course, and aha moments. And I think we'll lead the second half with a little aha moment that we were all talking about on the break. My son, Isaac, who is my reason for my next breath, is just a lovely young man. He's not lovely. He's handsome and tall and all that.
He's a great guy.
He's a great guy. I'm so affectionate towards him. I just think he's a cute baby.
And they're always five. They never.
He's never made it past 5 in my brain. Although he's 6'3", 200 pounds, and 19 years old. Anyway, he was having a conversation with his girlfriend, and they're both young students. He's going to UCF. She's going to Alabama, and he said, "Kaylee, have you ever thought of studying abroad or going to a foreign country to study?" And they had this conversation, and the word study abroad came across a couple of times. Now, when I was his age, study abroad was different. It was usually a cover charge and a bunch of singles. But anyway, I had to throw that in there. But anyway, to the point of the story is they were both sitting there with their telephones in front of each other, not on. Their phones were on, but not engaged. Both of them, within 15 minutes, got prompts on their phone. Have you ever considered studying abroad? Try to school overseas. Look at anything, learn this. And they're gonna both people. and that was without even asking for it. So, and now, Michael, you said you had a situation.
Yeah, absolutely. We're out at the ranch. We don't have Wi-Fi, and we have Verizon. And if you're lucky, you get one bar, maybe two every now and then. But there's really lousy reception out there. It's in the middle of nowhere. And I'm talking to my my ranch manager, Marianne. And our phones are on. Well, actually, what I did was I researched Zebu cattle. They're small Brahma
Zebu.
Zebu. I believe it's ZEBU. And they're very small cattle, and I need to get a greenbelt exemption back. So instead of running real cattle and run these little guys,
sure,
it's like come here, little doggy.
My ranchette.
My ranchette, right? It's a small ranch. I need small cattle.
Right? Why would you have big cattle on a small ranch?
Right. I do ponies, but they're nasty.
Ponies are nasty.
Oh, they can be. Yeah.
They got short guy syndrome.
Well, but I did the research on Zebu cattle, right? Zebu. And we just talked about it, nonchalantly. And then the day later on her phone comes up, do you want to buy some Zebu cattle?
Really?
Yeah. And she goes like, I didn't research it. I didn't look anywhere. Where's this stuff coming from?
And it's probably a word she never even heard before.
Exactly. And she had no idea. To this day, she doesn't know what Zebu cattle are.
I don't either.
Yeah. Well,
but you told me as close as I can get.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, guys, I had the same experience. That's actually how I got into cuddling.
Really?
Yeah. My friend Michelle and I were sitting across the dinner table from each other at a restaurant, had our phones on the table. Again, not engaged, but they were powered on.
Right.
And she asked me if I was on any of the dating sites, and I told her no. And she said, well, why not? Don't you get lonely? And I said, you know what I really miss out of everything? She said, what? I said, I miss being cuddled. Being held.
Yeah.
And the next thing I know, Facebook's blowing up my phone with all these professional cuddlists ads.
Wow.
So that's what triggered this whole thing for me.
You're living proof
yes,
that it works.
That it works. I know. I suckered right in.
I'd like to say hi to some of our listeners. We're live on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on the IRN Broadcast Network. We're on tantalk1340.com. Where else are we at, Pete?
We're on tantalknetwork.com. And of course, if you got one of those handy dandy smartphones, make sure you download the TuneIn Radio app with the Tantalk Radio Network to hear this show along with all the fine shows on this radio station.
That's great. And did I miss anybody? It's going to later be on Podomatic, and on IRN they do a
IRN network. Yeah,
they do a delayed
Mike
broadcast.
Peter. Yeah,
we love him.
Right.
And hi, Debbie Bruner, Bobby Carpenter, love you, buddy. See you Saturday. Carol Miller, and my old friend Brenda Belair. And so thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. So we're right now, here we are, 2018, the second week of August, and we're noticing huge things happening in our world. And I really do believe these are huge. The decapitation of the Alex Jones show, the InfoWars show, being cut out because of hate speech, but yet Maxine Waters, Louis Farrakhan, and Antifa, all their sites are still up.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't see where.
Oh, it's easy to see when you see who's controlling it all and where the agenda's going.
And that's what I'm saying is if you're trying to cancel out hate speech, okay, which for one, I don't even agree with. If you want to spout off, I mean, if I want to stand on the corner over here and tell everybody, how to kill plastic kittens with a hammer, don't listen to me, but I might be there. And I want to have the ability to say that.
What people don't realize is that from a legal basis, if somebody says something to you that would enrage you so much so as to expect a physical response from you of violence.
Really?
Okay. Guess what?
What?
You brought it on yourself.
Really?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And that's from an attorney, ladies and gentlemen.
Right. Doesn't mean you won't be in trouble, but it's kind of something that's always been with men. It's always been the threat of violence that has kept us all in check.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you take that away, all right, you open up the world to a whole panoply of very problematic circumstances that cannot be solved by the government, but the government creates.
Yeah. Man, I couldn't agree more. So what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not awake these days, please stop taking the pat answer. Stop doing one layer of research. Peel it back. Take another look, because and that's what they're expecting you to do, is maybe do one layer of research and then be satisfied. Okay, believe me, they've already set the picks. So what I'm saying is, and in this show, the one thing that I would hope that even if you go through this and some of this information is uncomfortable to you, and some of your heroes are shattered and this and that and the other thing, and you've lost faith in whatever, thing you were believing in, but you find the element of love that is in all things, that is our goal. And so if you have to brush away a bunch of baloney and stuff that doesn't make any sense, let it be so. Stop believing the baloney and let yourself, get a little more organic with yourself and what makes me comfortable. And things that make you comfortable are all based in love. And now we're going to go back to the other side of the world, back to our guest, Chris Sontag, who has, we were out there being aggressive, and now we're over here.
It's all about balance.
You have a website called cuddlist.com.
Correct.
And you provide a cuddling service for men and women, children too?
No, they must be over 18.
Over
I have
18?
had some students, but they have to be over
good.
18.
That's good. And I see you got some stats here that are pretty scary. And this is the bad side of not legitimate cuddling.
Right. Well, I mean, we talked earlier about all the people that are cuddle clients,
right.
People that need touch. But there's the other side of the coin, are people who have either had bad touch or negative touch, and they need to learn to accept touch again.
Okay.
They need to learn that touch can be healthy.
Yes.
Or people who don't know how to ask for touch. People are very shy
Yeah.
about asking for what they want. Will you hold my hand? Will you lean up against me? Can I play with your hair? People, those are simple statements, and they're easy yes or no answers, but we're afraid to ask for those things.
It's a little weird in Walmart, but yeah.
Yeah, that Walmart's a whole nother egg. Some of the stats you were talking about, and these are all documented. 1 in 5 children experience some form of molestation.
Ugh.
Okay. So imagine what they're going to need when they grow up.
My stomach's turning already.
I know. 1 in 4 children are beat by a parent to the point of leaving a mark.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
that was my life too, for a little bit.
Yeah.
But that was then.
I'll give you a hug in a
I'm
minute.
almost okay. I'm almost 60.
You became the hugmeister as a result. It's like,
Yes.
you can't get past this guy without a hug.
That's
Actually,
right.
I didn't get swatted as much as my siblings.
That's because you were funny.
That's right.
Yeah. Tell me something funny so I don't swat you.
Right.
Okay. 1 in 6 women survive an attempted assault, sexual assault.
Ugh.
1 in 6.
That's amazing.
1 in 3 couples engages in physical violence.
1 in 3?
1 in 3.
Man.
And it doesn't have to be a regular occurrence. It can be once.
Really? Okay.
It leaves a mark.
Yeah.
It leaves a mark.
It does. Yeah.
And so those folks need to learn to accept touch as a comfortable. They need to find that safe place.
Yeah.
To ask for what they want, and to know that they're going to be safe, that the touch is healthy and loving and kind.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. I mean, because that is part of our it's our human makeup. And I remember, this is a long time ago, and I don't know whether, now I look back on everything, was it propaganda? I remember all the Romanian children was 20 some years ago that were left deserted, and nobody was touching them, and they were just rocking back and forth. And every once in a while, one would actually crawl over into another one's crib, and they would just hold each other.
Yeah, the science on this goes ways back. There are those the studies where I call them the wire monkey experiments, where they did, they raised young monkeys around wire monkeys versus the terry cloth monkey, and they found that the wire cloth monkeys were exceptionally neurotic as they grew into adulthood, and they weren't cured, whereas the ones that grew up with the terry cloth monkey surrogate were well adjusted, better adjusted than.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Hey, can I interject though?
Sure.
The whole consent thing is really important too, and when we deal with in CE5, it's all consent based as well. The extraterrestrials will not come down or make contact unless they have your consent. You're not afraid, and it's the same thing. It's if you're afraid, then the contact won't be made and shouldn't be made.
Sure.
So they're very courteous.
Yeah, why
in that
base it
regard.
in fear?
Right, exactly. And that's
Yeah.
the same thing with humans. You know, if you're going to have touch from somebody and all of a sudden you're going to be reviled or repulsed or have fear, and it's not welcome and it's not consensual, that's a bad thing.
Right.
So it's really clear that, understand consent first and then engage in consent and then make your contact, whether it be human, whether it be animal, or whether it be extraterrestrial.
Right.
It's, and the CE5, for those of you just getting used to listening to all this, like I said, that's close encounters of the fifth kind, human-initiated extraterrestrial outreach through prayer and meditation, preparing ourselves to receive whatever love they want to send down, and creating an avenue of consent.
And consciousness, mutual consciousness.
And, okay, now Michael has several CE5 events going. You had one in the middle of the week.
Yeah.
And you were down in Sarasota.
Yeah, absolutely.
Last night?
I was last night. I got in about 3:30 this morning, 4 o'clock.
Ooh.
But yeah, last night. Well, yeah, last night I went down at the request of a friend, and I call her my antenna for the group, Diana, and we went down to Sarasota, and I taught a CE5 down there to people that had never done it before.
Okay.
And there was allegedly a portal off the coast of Casey Key, and I had heard about it from other members, and I wanted
a physical place.
It's supposed to be a physical place, but what we ended up doing was doing the CE5 meditation early on in the night, about 8 o'clock, 8:30, and there's a protocol for that. And if you want to get the protocols, just go to my website, disabilityattorney.net, and contact me there, mmerberg at disabilityattorney.net. But go to the website first, please, and then. What we did was, out of nowhere, we had a member of the press there as well who learned it, and he had to leave. And on his way out, we had done the meditation, but on his way out, he's got his hand on the back door, and then all of a sudden, what I can only describe as a Stargate appears at about 3,500 feet to the above the coast on the east, it would be to our east, but to the coastal west. We had an orange orb appear, and then all of a sudden 3 dots. They weren't big enough to call orbs, and they stayed around longer than just a simple flash bulb.
Okay.
Flash bulbs, but they were up there, and then all of a sudden, through that triangle created by the 3 points of light, we had a ship come through that lit up the sky, and it went clear across 80% of the sky until it disappeared into the horizon into the west.
Wow.
And it was like one of those holy, kind of moments. So there is it might not be a portal, but there is a Stargate out there looming over the coast of Casey Key, and I had 2 other witnesses along with me that saw it.
Now, what we're going to do, Kathy, we're going to send you those pictures. Michael got some great pictures last night, and we did them in negative reverse, so you could see them.
Well, what I have here is the first picture is of a similar craft, but much smaller from last month's CE5 get together. And this is kind of what one would look like as it streaks through the sky. It's not a meteorite. It has specific properties that are, especially low flying, that have nothing to do with meteors. But I did get a chance to draw the ship coming through the portal. And this morning, I try to keep my notes there, and that's
sure.
If you can get it there, that's what it looks like. We can post these later, but
oh man,
yeah, it was something very, very special. And for those of you who don't know about Beyond UFOs, it's the book that you helped contribute to it, and I helped write part of it. It's Beyond UFOs, the Science of Consciousness and the Contact with Non-Human Intelligence, and it's produced by it's called FREE, the Foundation for Research into Extraterrestrial and Extraordinary Experiences. It's a nonprofit organization that's run by a bunch of eggheads from like Harvard and Berkeley and MIT. Well, yeah, there are a few of us in there, but I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of like the Joker in the deck. It's like, you got to keep it to keep the deck together, but But yeah, I helped write a chapter in it. Not that it's any good, but the book is great.
It is good,
and
don't be that way. No negative self-speak. Remember that.
Okay.
All right. And folks, if you're looking to expand your horizons on this, because what I'm noticing is people are getting a little tired of Earth, okay, and the way we treat each other, which actually if you just stop every once in a while and really sit and about the wonder of your life, the way you breathe, the way your heart beats, the complex mechanism that is your eyeball. I mean, all these amazing things. There's so much to be grateful for. But yet, consequently, when we look to man-made things, television production, those internet information, greed and business that's not straight, what it does, it starts to deteriorate us and takes little chunks out of us. Now, what this does, this restores yourself back full circle, because you're coming back to the innocence. You're coming back to the innocence that you arrived here with. All of us arrived here completely innocent. And Chris, I know what a lot of that, the hug therapy or the cuddle therapy does is it allows people to kind of go back to that place where they feel safe, they feel secure, just like they did when they got here.
Exactly.
And that's what's happened to each one of us. We started out all wonderful and full of love, and then people started talking to us, and it went downhill from there. That's why and I've often believed this too, whether the Bible uses the phraseology born again or rebirth or whatever, there comes a point in your life when you need to be reborn. You need to return to that innocence that you lost from being worldly. And however you get there, I don't know. There's no direct path. You can't pick up a trip ticket, AAA, to tell you how to get there. But what happens is it's a condition of your heart. And when you realize that your heart needs repair, it's available to you. The power and the love that exists in the universe is there to remedy you. It's there to make you feel better. And I've got all these beautiful people listening to the show, old friends, Gary Wilcox, beautiful preacher guy. In fact, he and I found Jesus like in the same month.
Amen.
In 1991.
Where were they keeping him?
Mike.
He was.
Don't josh about Jesus now.
Over by the Prince Albert can, I'm sure.
He was making sure the refrigerator wasn't running. And Therese Gaffney, and my buddy Eric Smith. Eric, you post some really beautiful stuff on Facebook, and thank you so much for sharing. What do you got there, Michael?
Well, you say, getting back to the point you are at birth, it must have been great to come out and then be held by a wonderful nurse and given to a loving mother. The nurse was pretty good. I'm not quite sure about mom yet, but and I take a grain of salt. I love my mother, I truly do. But the Tao teaches, be as a child with a body as subtle as water and a heart as open as the sky.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's what we're aspiring to.
And that's what it, and all of if you look at all the face of the world, what it does want you to return to that place of innocence where you can feel that genuine love that you showed up with.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying that the people that told you things, they were in their heart and in their mind, they were trying to help you. For the most part, there were some people that were truly evil in people's lives. I can't discount that. But what I'm saying is, for the most part, they were trying to teach you the best that they knew. And again, an opinion, which is all they had was an opinion, and they shared it with you. And you digested it, and you kept it as part of your makeup for many years. And what happens is we get full. We get full of stuff that's tainted. We get full of things that don't really behoove us. So there comes a point where you do have to purge, and you got to get rid of all that stuff. And that's why so many people do have that Christ consciousness, that moment where, I want to leave all that pain behind. I want to walk away from it. I used to always think like all your problems, your issues, your sins, your miscomings, I always pictured them like as a baseball-sized rock. And you had to carry them with you all the time. And eventually you had a basket, and then you had a bag, and then you had a bigger bag, and then you had a burlap sack, and then you had a canvas bag, and then you just couldn't go on anymore. You were just moving with all this pain and all this setback. And when someone offered you a respite, Someone said, you can get rid of all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he went, really? I can? And then that's what sets you on the path. And it happened to me in 1991. Now, I'm not the same guy I was, 3 months after that. I mean, I've looked at so many avenues of faith, and then and through semantics and other, linguistic differences, there's a lot of stuff that's the same. And that's what this show is about, in my humble opinion. .love is if you can get back to that basis of love, and where you yourself feel innocent.
Yes, it's the once again the Taoist saying, simplicity, patience, and compassion.
Well, wow, are we out of time already? Man, oh man, this is the fastest hour in history. Sending some healing out to Pamela. She's starting to feel under the weather, and wouldn't you know, she's been healthy all year. Now it's time for her to go scuba diving in Cuba. Now she's not feeling good. Now she got a little fever. Now she's kind of achy. So send some love energy over to my house and heal up that girl. And thank you so much for listening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Pete Blake, Michael Merberg, our special guest, Chris Sontag, thanks for all the cuddle information. And that's cuddlist.com.
Correct.
Okay. And for the CE5 information, disabilityattorney.net. Go to the website. There's an email link there, disabilityattorney.net. And of course, Kathy running our website here, imho.love. That's a new suffix you can get. .love. You don't have to .com. You don't have to .net. You don't have to .org. Now you can .love. But in our humble opinion, that's what we like the best. I'm Lou Angelwolf, and thank you so much. And we'll be on next Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. here on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Once in a while,